जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा, श्रीला प्रभुपदा। जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद। श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। भगवद गीता एज इट इज की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। We are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 12, text number 10. अभ्यासेऽप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव, मदर्थम अपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिम् अवाप्स्यसि। अभ्यासेऽप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव, मदर्थम अपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिम् अवाप्स्यसि। अभ्यासेऽप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव, मदर्थम अपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिम् अवाप्स्यसि। Word to word meaning: अभ्यासे, in practice, api, even if, asamartah, unable, asi, you are, mat karma, my work, paramah, dedicated to, bhava, become, mad artham, for my sake, api, even, karmani, work, kurvan, performing, siddhim, perfection, avapsyasi, you will achieve. Translation. Before we go to the translation and purport, we will recite the Mangalacharana prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation is as follows. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me. Because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. So, right now we are on the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita as it is, and till now in this chapter we have seen that Krishna is explaining Arjuna how worshipping his personal form is always better than worshipping his impersonal form. And in that connection, Krishna right from verse number 8 onwards, he is giving various levels. First he says that Mayyeva mana adatsva Mai buddhim niveshaya. In verse number 8, Krishna says that you fix your mind upon me and engage all your intelligence in me. So this is the highest, the top class bhakti, which is also called as Raga Nuga Bhakti, or the bhakti where there is spontaneous love for Krishna. So Krishna is talking about that bhakti here, where mind is completely fixed on the form, pastimes and holy names of Krishna. Now, in verse number 9, which we saw on Saturday, Krishna is explaining that, okay, I understand, Krishna knows that Kali Yuga is about to come, and it's not so easy for people in general to fix their mind completely on the holy names of Krishna, on the form of Krishna. It is not possible to completely focus one's attention on Krishna. And therefore, in verse number 9, Krishna says, Atha chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi mai sthiram abhyasa yogena tato mam ichhaptum dhananjaya. Krishna says that, my dear Arjun, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. So, Krishna is saying here that if you cannot fix your mind upon me, O Arjuna, it's okay. Just practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. Abhyasa yogena. Do abhyas. Try to, if you cannot fix your mind on me, by the process of Bhakti Yoga, try to fix your mind on me. Try to perform Navavidha Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, that we find in Srimad Bhagavatam. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. If you perform these 9 processes of devotional service, which also consists, Bhakti Yoga consists of these 9 processes. When we practice these processes, Krishna is saying, in this way, develop a desire to attain me. So this desire to attain Krishna has to be there in everyone's heart. Laulyam, tatra laulyam, api mulyam ekalam, janma koti sukrutir na labhyate. That we should have this laulyam to attain Krishna. When we get this laulyam, the desire, the intense desire to get Krishna, that's when we make spiritual advancement. And we get that desire to get Krishna when we associate with senior high-class Vaishnavas and we perform Bhakti Yoga. By performing Bhakti Yoga, by performing Navavidha Bhakti, by chanting the holy names of Krishna, our consciousness gets purified. Cheto Darpana Marjanam, as Mahaprabhu says in his Shikshashtakam, that the mirror of our consciousness gets purified when we chant the holy names of Krishna. And when our consciousness is fully purified after many, many years of chanting the holy name, that's when we will develop, that's when gradually we will develop intense desire to attain Krishna. So that's what Krishna is saying in verse number 9. Now, in today's verse that we read, in verse number 10, Krishna is saying that abhyasepya samarthosi mat karma paramo bhava madartham api karmani kurvam siddhim avapsyasi. Krishna is saying that if you cannot even practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, so he is saying even if you are not able to practice Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me. Because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. So Krishna is saying that there might be people in Kali Yuga, that those who will be, it will be difficult for them to even practice Bhakti Yoga, even practice the Shravanam and Kirtanam. Because people in Kali Yuga are so busy, they don't have time to practice Krishna consciousness. So for them, Krishna is saying that if you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me. Because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. So Krishna is saying just work for me. Whatever activities you do, you just do it for me. So this is how merciful our Supreme Lord is. He is going next level. So if you cannot do something that is at level number 1, Krishna is giving, okay, we have level number 2. If you cannot even do what is given at level number 2, you have level number 3. So this is how merciful our Supreme Lord is. He doesn't want to reject anyone. He doesn't reject anyone. He wants to include as many souls as possible under the umbrella of his mercy. He wants to give his mercy to everyone, anyone and everyone. So let's see what Prabhupada is writing in the purport. One who is not able even to practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga under the guidance of a spiritual master can still be drawn to this perfectional stage by working for the Supreme Lord. How do this work has already been explained in the 55th verse of the 11th chapter. So now let's see what was the 55th verse of the 11th chapter. In the 55th verse of the 11th chapter, Krishna is saying that, which is also the last verse of the 11th chapter, Krishna concludes 11th chapter by saying, Mat karma krin mat paramo mad bhaktah sanga varjitah nirvaira sarva bhuteshu yasa mam eti pandavah. Krishna is saying, my dear Pandav, or my dear Arjun, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. So in this verse, Krishna is saying that he who works for me, he will certainly come to me. So Krishna is giving that assurance that he who works for me, he comes to me. And Srila Prabhupada is repeating the same thing, same point in this purport as well. One should be sympathetic to the propagation of Krishna consciousness, There are many devotees who are engaged in the propagation of Krishna consciousness and they require help. So, even if one cannot directly practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, he can try to help such work. Every endeavor requires land, capital, organization, and labor. Just as in business, one requires a place to stay, some capital to use, some labor, and some organization to expand. So the same is required in the service of Krishna. The only difference is that in materialism, one works for sense gratification. The same work, however, can be performed for the satisfaction of Krishna, and that is spiritual activity. If one has sufficient money, he can help in building an office or temple for propagating Krishna consciousness, or he can help with publications. There are various fields of activity, and one should be interested in such activities. If one cannot sacrifice the results of his activities, the same person can still sacrifice some percentage or to propagate Krishna consciousness. This voluntary service to the cause of Krishna consciousness will help one to rise to a higher state of love for God, whereupon one becomes perfect. So, Prabhupada is writing in the purport that how can we work for Krishna? Srila Prabhupada writes that for every activity, for every materialistic activity also, if we want to open up a business, or if we want to open up one shop, for anything, some money is required, some land is required. Similarly, even for building temples, some money, some capital, some planning is required. So therefore, whatever money we are earning, some portion of it we have to give for Krishna conscious activities. And that's how we are also working for him. We are not just giving our results to Krishna, but even whatever activities we are doing it for Krishna with this consciousness that may this activity, whatever activity I am doing, for my maintenance, this activity I am doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. And therefore even the fruits of this activity I will give it to Krishna. And therefore we find even in our society there are so many businessmen. They are giving huge donations to our movement. We know our Ambarish Prabhu, who is also the trustee, the chairman of the Ford company. He has given so many millions and billions of dollars for propagation of Krishna consciousness. And he is also the chairman and the trustee of the TOVP temple in Mayapur. So he is working for Krishna. He is working for Krishna. So someone might have the ability to speak nicely, or to give someone might have the ability to have excellent skills in public speaking. He can become a good preacher. So his ability to speak eloquently, he can use that ability in Krishna's service. Or someone might have the ability to paint beautiful pictures. Then he can paint beautiful pictures of Krishna's pastimes, like we have in our temple room. All these beautiful pictures on the walls are done by some devotees from India. So like this, whatever abilities that Krishna has given us, we have to use them in Krishna's service. Now, one important point that Prabhupada is writing here is, if one cannot sacrifice the results of his activities, the same person can still sacrifice some percentage to propagate Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada is writing that even if you are not able to give 100%, that's okay. But at least start with something, maybe 1% or 5%, 10% of our whatever earning that we are doing. If we can give for some propagation of Krishna consciousness, Krishna will be pleased with us. if we have, let's say, if I'm a builder, if we have a business of construction, then we can maybe build temples for Krishna for free, or at least give some discount or concession for building the temples of Krishna. So this voluntary service to the cause of Krishna consciousness will help one to rise to a higher state of love for God, whereupon one becomes perfect. So gradually such people, because they are working for Krishna, gradually they will come to a stage where they will perform regulative principles of bhakti. So by working for Krishna, slowly they will come to a stage of performing bhakti yoga. And when they perform bhakti yoga for many years, they will come to a stage where their mind is completely fixed on the lotus feet of Krishna. So these are the levels that Krishna is talking about in this particular chapter, right from verse number 8 onwards. So this is what Krishna is talking about in this particular verse. And therefore we understand that by we should try as much as possible to directly practice bhakti yoga. But if for someone, if that is not possible, then even the skills that they have, they can use it in Krishna's service. Krishna is very merciful that he wants to include as much as possible, as many people as possible under his shelter. So he has given various levels for people to come and take his shelter. So that's what I understood from this particular verse. I would like to stop here. If there are any improvements, corrections, mistake, any questions? Saurabh Prabhu, you want to say something? So should we stop here? Yes. Yes. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
So, I understand whatever we do, we should do it for Krishna. But then at the back of our mind, we also have this. We know that Krishna is full in six opulences. He doesn't need anything. So, sometimes it becomes difficult to make a connection between the things that we are doing and offering that to him. Like, let's say for example, I'm working in my office and I'm doing it, but I don't see a direct connection there. Like, how can this be useful to Krishna? Because Krishna doesn't need this, clearly. So how do we convince ourselves there in the first thought, like, okay, this is for Krishna, and
Yeah, so whatever work we are doing, let's say, so we might be in IT or we might be in research, maybe PhD, postdoc. So the mood that, like, this is what I'm just repeating what I've heard from senior devotees. The mood can be that whatever I'm working, whatever money I get, that money, by using that money, my home, like, ghar chalega mera, right? So just for the maintenance of the work, maintenance of the house, I am earning money. And why I have to maintain a family and a house? So that in that house I can perform bhakti. So like that, we have to think that when I am doing my work in the office, we have to think that whatever money is coming, because we are not like the 6 Goswamis in Vrindavan, that we can live anywhere. We are not at that standard yet, that we can live anywhere and everywhere. So we have to work. And we work with an intention that whatever money I am getting, I am maintaining myself and my family nicely, and I am maintaining my house, so that in that house I can perform bhakti, I can perform devotional service. So therefore I need to work, and that's how our work can also be dedicated, or our work can also be, I should say, this is how we can work for Krishna. So any activity we do, this can be the thought process. that I am doing this for Krishna, for the pleasure of Krishna. This is what I have heard from senior devotees. You want to add something to this?
I mean, I like when you said like if you work in your office, you get like whatever work you're getting, you're able to maintain the house.
Hmm.
And I think that's the basic necessity because if you don't have that, then
Hmm.
everyone in the house will be disturbed. Like,
Yeah.
so if they are disturbed, they will not be able to perform bhakti in the first place because everyone will be trying to get out of that somehow.
Hmm.
And if you have that, then at least like once that necessity is fulfilled, then you can perform bhakti. So
Yes, very true. Because right now we are at a stage where our material surroundings affect our bhakti as well. We have not reached, at least if I have to talk about myself. I have not reached to the level where I can be just anywhere. I don't care about the material surroundings. I don't care where I live, and still I will be peaceful and practice bhakti in a very peace of mind. So we are not at that level yet. So therefore we need some material stability, at least the basic roti kapda makan, to keep going in bhakti. So and then that's how we can connect our work with Krishna consciousness. Does that work? Yes, sure. Thank you, Prabhu. So I think we can stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Bhagavad Gita as it is ki Jai, Hare Krishna.